Okay, so we're going to add a second scene now. So to do that, you go to Window, Other Panels, Scene, to show the scene panel, and we click on the New Scene button here. I'm going to name the scenes now. So this scene 1 is our drag and drop, and scene 2 is timeline. Okay, so the first thing to do is set up the layers. So refer back to my original here. So we've got 4 layers: background, hotspots, pointer, actions. So we'll start with those. Create 3 new layers. Always put the actions layer at the top. Okay, so the first thing is to create our background. The background is fairly straightforward. Just wondering why I've made that 5 frames actually. I don't think it needs to be. I'll stick with 5 frames for now just to be sure, but to be honest I don't think it needs to be. Background. On the background we've got the title, the instructions, simple instructions, the dates and the actual timeline bar here. Now obviously it doesn't have to be a timeline. I'm just using the timeline as an example of this particular mechanic. So background, okay, I'm going to keep this extremely simple. As I've said before, it's all about the mechanics. Title, I'm just going to call it title, and then we've got instructions over to the left. Something along those lines. Move cursor to date for more information. Okay, that's the gist of that. We've got the actual dates themselves. Okay, so that's the background in place. Again, it's not going to be perfectly lined up this. Okay, hotspots are the spots that are spaced along the timeline. So for the hotspots we're going to create just a simple shape and turn it into a button or movie clip. I think it's a movie clip, no button. Turn it into a button and give each button a unique name. So I'm going to turn that into a button, select, right click, convert to symbol. First one is chess underscore btn. Okay, so chess underscore btn, button, fine, turn it into a button and drag. Now actually the name of the button I've just given, this is the distinction between the name that we give a button in the library and the instance name we give it. So we only need one of these in the library and then we can create different instances of it. So that's our button, our original button. Important thing is the instance name here, yeah, in the properties panel. So go to properties, and chess underscore btn, short for button, needs to go in there. What we can do, the great thing with this is, if we go to the library, our button is stored there. Now I called it chess btn. I'm actually going to call it, just call it timeline button, give it a more generic name. Okay, and we can use that. We can reuse that now, timeline button, as many times as we want for the timeline. So I'll drag 2 more instances of that from the library onto the stage. Okay, and the important thing, like I said before, in the properties panel, give each one a unique instance name. The next one is space invaders, space underscore invaders underscore btn, and the final one is Call of Duty. So call underscore of underscore duty underscore btn. Okay, so those are our names. So those are the hotspots. The pointer is up here. I'll move up. So first of all, we need to create the pointer and then turn that into a movie clip. We give this the instance name marker score underscore MC. MC is just short for movie clip. So I'm going to create a very simple pointer, a bit rough and ready, an arrow. We select, we right click, convert to symbol. Make sure you change this to movie clip. So we'll just call it marker. Okay, I've actually called it pointer on the layer, and what I've made a mistake, a common mistake, I'm still on the hotspots layer, so I need to cut that from the hotspots layer and paste it onto the pointer layer. Okay, make sure it's on the correct layer. Now click on the movie clip and make sure we put in the instance name up here, so marker underscore MC. Okay, that's our pointer layer. Now next thing is, if we go inside that movie clip, we have 2 more layers. Now this is where we put the individual pieces of information about the 3 different games. Okay, I'm going to open the action script panel now as well, because there's just a little bit of script in here which I'm going to bring over. Stop action. So we'll just create these empty frames and then we can put the content into them. So we double click on the movie clip to go inside. We create a second layer first of all, and on the second layer we create 5. So to do that, we click at the beginning, shift click at number 5 to select the block, right click and insert blank do that again, and convert to blank keyframes, and that creates a separate series of empty blank keyframes. We extend on layer 1, we have the marker itself. We click on frame 5, right click and insert frame to extend that across there. Then on frame 1 here we put in a stop action, which we're familiar with. That is under timeline control here on the left. Double click stop. We've placed our stop action. Okay, so we've placed the stop action on the first keyframe. The next thing is to just select the marker and move it up so the point of the marker or pointer, or whatever you want to call it, is lined up with this cross here. Okay, because the action script, to work out where the pointer is, it uses this cross as a guide. The next thing is to place the excuse me, place the actual content above the marker. So if I go back to my original again, now if we look at the chess content here, I'm actually going to copy this across. So I'll select the text and the image. Let me just copy those into here. So that goes on this second keyframe. Okay. Now I'm going to. We want to place the marker just above the stage here. Okay. So to do that, we can't actually move this cross inside the keyframe, inside the movie clip here. So what we have to do is go back outside the movie clip, move the marker, and then you'll see it takes that important cross with it. So we go back inside the marker now, and you'll see it's moved it's taken the cross with it. Now paste that content in. So this is the sorry, I've done that twice. I was on the wrong frame. So on this first keyframe here, we place the content. Okay, so the image of the chessboard and the written information. I'm just going to do that one. I'm not going to do the other two because basically the other two is you're repeating the process. The only other thing we need to do is create a frame marker, or frame label should I say. If we click on this second frame here, go over to the properties panel and see where it says label here, and type in the word chess. I'll double check I've got my name incorrect. I think I have. Okay, yeah. When you create a frame label, it creates a little red flag which tells you that that frame has got a name. And we go now back outside the movie clip. We now need to add the script, the main bulk of the script, okay, which is in the Word file which you've downloaded from Moodle, and this is the script. Okay, we'll have a quick look at it. What it does is it creates a tween, so it creates a little animation that moves the marker down to the button when you place the cursor over the button. That's called a tween, short for in between, so it kind of fills in the animation frames that brings the marker down to the hotspot, and then the easing refers to the animation slows down and kind of eases into a stop when it gets to the hotspot. This array here, so we've got the names, so this refers to the frame labels, so we've just named that frame chess, so it knows that when we place the cursor over that first hotspot to go to the frame that's labelled chess. The target, so X and Y we've talked about before, so X is the horizontal coordinates, Y are the vertical coordinates, so it calculates the X and Y coordinates of the marker here. This is to do with the speed, okay, so it moves in an X direction 0.5 pixels at a time, and a Y direction 1.5 pixels at a time. What else? We've got yeah, this relates to the hotspot itself, so when you roll the cursor over the hotspot, it tells the marker to go to and stop at the marker. Okay, so is it, you know, we can sort of pick through this and basically make sense of it, you know, and work out which bit of block of text does what. Okay, so if you copy that select all and copy that action script from your Word file, and that goes, I'll just show you on the actions label here, the actions frame should I say. So if we just select the actions frame there at the beginning and paste that in, just do a syntax check to make sure we've copied it all across properly by clicking on the blue tick, and we've got everything in place now. Oh, the only other little thing is when we set up when we create the main menu, okay, when we click on the main menu buttons, they need a name or an address to link to. So we're gonna put a frame label on this first keyframe. We'll just call it H_O_G for history of games. Again, you can name things whatever you want as long as the action script uses the correct name. Okay, so if I click on that empty keyframe on the actions layer and call that H_O_G, press enter. Okay, and you should see, actually it won't show the red flag because there's not room for it because we've already got the A for the action script there, but to double check, if you click on that frame you will see that it's named there. Now everything should be in place, so the acid test now is to test it. So if we test scene, we're just testing the scene on its own here, and if we move down to the chess hotspot, yeah, the marker animates, comes down and eases to a stop over the hotspot there that we've placed the cursor over, and then obviously we'll move the cursor along here. Now what it's doing is it's just using the chess information and image for the other two, but if you remember, if we were to create those inside the marker, so to create the Space Invaders content here on this next keyframe and the Call of Duty content here, it would swap, it would move to those when we place the hotspot over these other two. So that's everything, so just make sure save, and we now have a drag and drop scene and a timeline scene inside our movie.